I am Riley Barnes, and today I'm about to defend the most impossible case of my career. The woman sitting across from me in this sterile conference room shouldn't be here. Lisa Chen, 43, art teacher, mother of two, accused of forging Victorian jewelry worth $500,000. Her trembling hands tell me she's innocent. Her eyes tell me she's terrified. I swear on my children's lives, I never touched those pieces, Lisa. Whispers, her voice barely audible above the air conditioning's hum. I believe you. The words come out stronger than I feel. Tomorrow's trial will determine if a jury believes her too. 20 minutes later, I'm pedaling through Austin's sweltering heat, trading my tailored suit for cycling gear. The charity ride for domestic violence survivors starts in 10 minutes, and I need this. Need to feel my legs burning, my lungs working, anything to distract from the weight of Lisa's case. 3 blocks away, Tiffany White closes her antique shop early, her fingers still tingling from touching the Victorian locket she discovered this morning. Hidden beneath layers of tarnish and time, it practically hummed with secrets. The inscription inside made her breath catch, "For my dearest M, until we meet again in this life or the next." She'd seen thousands of antiques, but this one felt different, personal, almost alive. The starting line buzzes with nervous energy. 50 riders, all here to raise money for women escaping violent situations. I adjust my helmet, scanning the crowd of determined faces. That's when I see her. Brunette hair catches the late afternoon sun, escaping from beneath her cycling helmet in soft waves. Brown eyes that seem to hold mysteries. Studying her bike with the same intensity I reserve for legal briefs. She's beautiful in that effortless way that makes my chest tighten unexpectedly. "First time?" I call out, wheeling my bike closer. She glances up, and damn if my heart doesn't skip. 3rd year, actually. "You?" "2nd." I extend my hand. Riley Barnes. Tiffany White. Her grip is firm, warm. "You look familiar. Do you shop downtown?" "I'm a defense attorney." "Maybe you've seen me in the courthouse?" Her smile shifts, becoming more guarded. "Ah, I own White's Antiques on South Lamar." The whistle blows before I can respond. 50 cyclists surge forward, but somehow Tiffany and I end up side by side as we leave the city behind. The route winds through hill country, past limestone cliffs and sprawling oak trees that provide blessed shade from the Texas heat. "What made you join this ride?" I ask during a brief downhill stretch. "Personal reasons." Her voice carries pain she's not ready to share. "You?" Sometimes defending people isn't enough. Sometimes you need to do more. We ride in comfortable silence after that, our bikes moving in perfect synchronization. When she offers me half her energy bar at mile 30, I realize I've been watching her more than the road. When I share my water bottle at mile 40, her lips brush the rim where mine had been, and something electric passes between us. Mile 47 brings disaster. Tiffany's rear tire explodes with a sharp pop that echoes across the countryside. We both brake hard, gravel skittering beneath our wheels. "Damn it," she mutters, examining the shredded rubber. "I knew I should have replaced this before the ride." The support van is miles ahead. Other riders stream past us, focused on their finish times. I glance at my watch, then at Tiffany kneeling beside her disabled bike, and make a decision that will change everything. "I've got tools," I say, dismounting. "Let's see what we can do." "You don't have to stay. This is your race too." I meet her eyes, seeing something there that makes my pulse quicken. Some things are more important than finish times. As I kneel beside her in the gravel, our shoulders touching as we work on her bike, neither of us realizes we're already crossing a line that will bind our fates together in ways we never imagined. The Victorian locket in her shop will soon reveal its secrets. My impossible case will take unexpected turns, and the woman beside me will become both my salvation and my greatest risk. But for now, there's just this moment. 2 women fixing a bike on a dusty Texas road while something precious and dangerous blooms between us like wildflowers after rain. The tire repair takes 40 minutes. 40 minutes of our hands accidentally brushing, of stolen glances while adjusting spokes, of her soft laughter when I fumble with the tire iron. By the time we mount our bikes again, the sun hangs lower, painting the Texas landscape in shades of amber and gold. "We can still make decent time," I tell her, though, honestly, I'm not thinking about finish lines anymore. The remaining miles stretch before us like an invitation. We fall into an easy rhythm, side by side through rolling hills that smell of cedar and wildflowers. The support van passed us 20 minutes ago, but neither of us suggests flagging it down. This stolen time feels too precious. So what kind of law? Tiffany asks as we crest a particularly steep hill. Criminal defense, currently representing a woman accused of art fraud. I pause, gauging her reaction. Victorian jewelry, actually. Something flickers across her face. That's oddly specific. You know something about Victorian pieces? I should hope so, after 8 years in antiques. She shifts gears, muscles working beneath sun-warmed skin. What kind of jewelry? Lockets. Supposedly part of a collection that disappeared from a private estate in 1995. Tiffany nearly swerves into the shoulder. Jesus. Sorry, I just found something similar today. Complete coincidence. The road levels out, giving us space to ride closer. Tell me about it. Victorian locket, incredible craftsmanship. Hidden beneath tarnish in an estate lot I bought this morning. Her voice carries excitement now. There's an inscription inside that made my skin crawl. In a good way or bad way? She glances at me, brown eyes unreadable. Jury's still out. We're approaching the final checkpoint when disaster strikes again. Not Tiffany's bike this time, but mine. The chain snaps with a metallic ping, sending me lurching forward as the pedals spin uselessly. You've got to be kidding, I mutter, coasting to a stop. Tiffany circles back, shaking her head. What is it with bikes today? The support van is long gone. The finish line lies 5 miles ahead, all uphill. Other riders pass us in diminishing numbers as afternoon slides toward evening. I can walk it, I say, though my legs already ache from 30-something miles of riding. Or I could give you a ride. I stare at her. On your bike? That's insane. I've got strong legs. She pats her bike frame. This old girl can handle 2 if we take it slow. Before I can protest, she's off her bike, repositioning the seat. Come on, counselor. Live a little. The next 20 minutes redefine my understanding of proximity. I perch on her crossbar while she pedals, her arms bracketing me, her breath warm against my neck when she leans forward on hills. Every bump in the road presses us closer together. Her thighs work powerfully beneath me, and I find myself hyper-aware of every point where our bodies connect. You okay up there? She asks, during a particularly steep climb. Perfect, I manage, though my heart hammers for reasons that have nothing to do with physical exertion. We're maybe 2 miles from the finish when the sky opens up. Texas thunderstorms don't mess around. 1 minute we're riding through golden afternoon light, the next we're caught in a deluge that turns the road into a slip hazard. There, Tiffany shouts over the thunder, pointing toward a small building ahead. The abandoned gas station provides minimal shelter, but it's better than drowning on the roadside. We wheel the bike inside just as lightning splits the sky, illuminating everything in stark white relief. We're both soaked. Tiffany's hair hangs in dark waves around her face, water droplets clinging to her eyelashes. My cycling jersey clings to my skin like a second layer, and I catch her looking before she quickly glances away. So much for the finish line, I say, trying to lighten the moment. The ride was never about the finish line anyway. She wrings water from her hair, and the simple gesture seems impossibly intimate. At least not for me. What was it about then? She meets my eyes, and everything else fades. The storm, the abandoned building, the failed bikes. There's just this woman looking at me like she sees something worth staying for. Maybe it was about meeting someone worth missing the finish line for. The words hang between us, loaded with possibility and danger. I take a step closer. Close enough to see the flecks of gold in her brown eyes, close enough to catch her sharp intake of breath. Tiffany, I whisper, not sure what I'm asking. But she knows. Her hand finds my cheek, thumb tracing the line of my jaw with devastating gentleness. When she steps closer, eliminating the last inch of space between us, I forget every reason this might be complicated. Her lips are soft and warm and taste like possibility. The kiss starts gentle, questioning, but deepens when I thread my fingers through her damp hair and pull her closer. She makes a small sound against my mouth that sends heat spiraling through my core. Thunder crashes overhead, but all I can hear is my own heartbeat, and her quiet gasp when I trace her lower lip with my tongue. her hands fist in my jersey, holding me close like she's afraid I might disappear. When we finally break apart, both breathing hard, the storm outside seems insignificant compared to the tempest building between us. This complicates things, I murmur against her forehead. Good, she whispers back. I was getting tired of simple. Monday morning hits like cold reality. Lisa's trial starts in 3 days, and I still don't have the evidence I need to save her. The Victorian lockets in question supposedly came from the Ashford estate collection, but the provenance documents look suspicious. Too clean, too convenient. That's when I remember Tiffany's words about finding a similar piece. White's Antiques sits between a coffee shop and a vintage clothing store on South Lamar. Through the window I can see her arranging a display of silver frames, her movements precise and graceful. My chest tightens at the memory of those same hands tangled in my hair 2 days ago. The bell chimes as I enter, and she looks up with a smile that makes my knees weak. Riley, I was hoping you'd stop by. This might be more than a social visit. I pull out photos of the evidence from Lisa's case. These are the lockets my client allegedly forged. Do they look familiar? Her face pales as she studies the images. Christ. They're nearly identical to the one I found. Nearly? Same style, same craftsmanship, but mine has different engravings. She leads me to a glass case in the back. This is what I discovered Friday morning. The locket takes my breath away. It's exquisite, clearly authentic, and bears an inscription that makes my pulse race, for my dearest M, until we meet again. My client's pieces have similar inscriptions, I whisper. If yours is genuine, then hers might be too. Tiffany's eyes meet mine, which means someone's setting her up. I pull out my phone to photograph the locket, but she catches my wrist. Her touch sends electricity up my arm. Riley, if this becomes evidence in your case, my shop gets dragged into a legal nightmare. I could lose everything I've built. The weight of what I'm asking hits me. Help me save my client, but risk your own livelihood. The smart move would be to walk away, find another angle. But looking into her brown eyes, I can't bring myself to leave. I wouldn't ask if there was another way. She holds my gaze for a long moment, then nods. What do you need? The next 3 hours blur together. We photograph the locket from every angle, research similar pieces online, cross-reference auction records. Tiffany knows her business inside out, pointing out details I would have missed. The way she handles the piece, with reverence and expertise, makes me want to watch her work forever. Look at this. She points to a tiny maker's mark. See how the stamp is slightly offset? That's characteristic of genuine Harwick pieces from the 1880s. I lean closer to see, our shoulders touching. She smells like lavender and old books, a combination that's becoming dangerous to my concentration. The pieces in your case have perfect stamps, she continues. Too perfect. Machine-made, probably contemporary reproductions. So Lisa's telling the truth. About the forgery charge, yes. But Riley... She turns to face me, worry creasing her brow. If someone planted those reproductions to frame her, this goes deeper than simple art fraud. Outside, storm clouds are building again. The afternoon light filtering through the windows turns golden, casting shadows that dance across Tiffany's face. She's pulled her hair back while working, exposing the elegant line of her neck, and I have to resist the urge to trace it with my fingertips. We should document everything properly, I say, trying to focus. Chain of custody, authentication records. I have a full photography setup upstairs. She glances toward the back stairs. Better lighting, proper equipment. Her apartment above the shop is a revelation. Hardwood floors scattered with Persian rugs, walls lined with bookshelves and carefully curated antiques. French doors open onto a small balcony where herbs grow in terracotta pots. It's sophisticated and warm, like her. Wine? She offers, already pulling a bottle from a small rack. This kind of work goes better with Pinot Grigio. I should say no. Should maintain professional boundaries, keep this strictly business. But when she hands me a glass and our fingers brush, professionalism flies out the window. To solving impossible cases, she toasts. To beautiful complications. The words slip out before I can stop them, but she smiles, stepping closer instead of backing away. Is that what I am? A complication? Lightning flickers outside. and the first drops of rain patter against the windows. We're standing by her dining table, surrounded by photographs and research notes. But all I can see is the way her lips part slightly when she looks at me. "You're something much more dangerous than that." She sets down her wine glass and moves closer, backing me against the edge of the table. Her hands rest on either side of me, trapping me in the best possible way. "How dangerous," she whispers. Instead of answering, I kiss her. This time there's no hesitation, no gentle questioning, just heat and need and the sound she makes when I pull her against me. Her mouth opens under mine, and I taste wine and want and something that might be forever. The thunder outside matches the storm building between us. When she breaks the kiss to trail her lips down my throat, I arch against her, my hands finding the hem of her shirt. "Riley," she breathes against my skin. "Are you sure about this?" I thread my fingers through her hair and bring her mouth back to mine, kissing her with everything I can't yet say aloud. When we break apart, both breathing hard, the answer hangs between us like lightning. I've never been more sure of anything. Rain hammers against the windows as we move toward her bedroom, leaving the locket and its secrets forgotten on the dining table. Tomorrow will bring complications and consequences. But tonight there's just this, just us, and the promise of something worth every risk. The authentication process takes 3 exhausting days. Tiffany's locket proves genuine beyond doubt, dating to 1884, and crafted by renowned silversmith Edmund Harwick. The pieces in Lisa's case bear all the hallmarks of modern reproductions. Clever but ultimately detectable under proper examination. The microscopic analysis confirms it, I tell Lisa during our final pre-to-trial meeting. "Your pieces are fake, planted to frame you. We can prove it." Her relief is palpable, but I know we're not out of the woods yet. Someone went to elaborate lengths to destroy this woman's life, and I still don't know who or why. That evening, I find myself back at Tiffany's shop as she closes up. The past 3 days have been a careful dance of professional collaboration laced with stolen moments. A brush of fingers when passing documents, eyes meeting across her dining table during late research sessions, the memory of Monday night hovering between us like unfinished business. "The trial starts tomorrow," I say, watching her lock the register. "I wanted to thank you." "Don't thank me yet. We still have to convince 12 strangers that your client isn't a criminal." She moves through her closing routine with practiced efficiency, but I catch her glancing at me when she thinks I'm not looking. The tension between us has been building all week, professional necessity warring with deeper wants. "Riley?" She pauses by the display case housing her locket. "Are you nervous about tomorrow?" "Terrified," I admit. Lisa's whole life hangs in the balance. She steps closer, close enough that I catch her familiar scent of lavender and old books. "You'll save her. I've watched you work this week. You're brilliant." The compliment hits deeper than it should. When she reaches up to straighten my collar, the simple touch ignites every nerve ending. "Tiffany." I know. This timing is impossible. Her hands rest against my chest and I can feel my heartbeat accelerating. But I can't stop thinking about Monday night. Neither can I. The memory of her skin against mine, the soft sounds she made when I touched her, the way she whispered my name in the darkness. It's been driving me to distraction all week. Thunder rumbles overhead, another summer storm building. Through the shop windows, I can see people hurrying past with umbrellas, seeking shelter before the deluge hits. "Come upstairs," she says quietly. "Please. I should go home, prepare my opening statement, get a good night's sleep." But when she takes my hand and leads me toward the back stairs, I follow without hesitation. Her apartment feels different tonight, charged with anticipation and possibility. She pours wine while I stand at the French doors, watching lightning illuminate the darkening sky. When she joins me, pressing the glass into my hands, her fingers linger longer than necessary. "To tomorrow," she says, raising her glass. "To tonight," I counter. We drink in comfortable silence until the storm hits. Rain lashes the windows with sudden violence, and the lights flicker once before stabilizing. In the intermittent lightning, Tiffany's face appears in stark relief, beautiful and vulnerable. "I have a confession," she says, setting down her wine. "This week, working with you, watching you fight for Lisa, it's made me want things I haven't wanted in years." My breath catches. "What kind of things?" Instead of answering with words, she steps closer and kisses me. This kiss is different from Monday night's desperate passion. It's deliberate, exploratory, full of promise. When her hands slide up to frame my face, I melt into her touch. "I want you to stay tonight," she whispers against my lips. Not because of the case or the storm or anything logical, just because I want you here. I answer by kissing her again, deeper this time, my hands finding the curve of her waist and pulling her closer. She tastes like wine and desire, and when she makes that soft sound of approval, my resolve crumbles completely. We move toward her bedroom as lightning illuminates everything in silver flashes. Her hands work at the buttons of my blouse while I trace the elegant line of her throat with my lips. When she gasps and arches into me, I know we've crossed a line there's no returning from. The storm outside mirrors the tempest between us as we fall onto her bed. Her skin is warm silk beneath my palms, and the way she responds to my touch makes me dizzy with want. When she whispers my name like a prayer, I lose myself completely in the heat and need and overwhelming rightness of being here with her. Our bodies move together in ancient rhythm, building toward something that feels like both salvation and damnation. In the aftermath, we lie tangled together while rain pounds the windows and morning feels impossibly far away. But morning comes anyway, bringing harsh reality with the sunrise. I awake in her bed, sunlight streaming through gossamer curtains, and the full weight of what we've done crashes over me. In 6 hours, I'll be standing before a jury, fighting for Lisa's freedom. And the woman whose testimony could make or break the case is currently tracing lazy patterns on my bare shoulder, her touch both heaven and torment. "Second thoughts?" she asks softly, reading my expression. "Third and fourth thoughts," I admit. "If the prosecution discovers our relationship, then we make sure they don't." She sits up, sheet pooling around her waist, looking like a goddess carved from marble and desire. "This doesn't change anything about the evidence, Riley. The truth is still the truth." I want to believe her, but doubt gnaws at my chest. We've complicated everything in the most beautiful, dangerous way possible, and now I have to figure out how to save both Lisa's life and whatever this is between us, knowing that justice and love might be mutually exclusive. Lisa's acquittal comes after 4 days of grueling testimony. The jury deliberates for only 3 hours before returning with a unanimous not guilty verdict. Justice served, case closed. Tiffany's testimony about Victorian jewelry authentication proves pivotal, delivered with such expertise and poise that even the prosecution seems impressed. But victory feels hollow because of what starts that very night. I dream I'm standing in a Victorian mansion, wearing a heavy black dress that rustles with each step. Candlelight flickers across wallpapered walls as I search frantically through ornate rooms, calling for someone I can't name but desperately need to find. The dream feels vivid, more real than waking life. I can smell the lavender sachets, feel the weight of the cameo brooch at my throat. "Margaret," I whisper in the dream, though I have no idea who Margaret is. "Where are you, my dearest?" I wake with tears on my cheeks and the phantom taste of laudanum on my tongue. 2 nights later, the dream returns. This time, I'm writing a letter with a fountain pen that bleeds ink across cream paper. "My beloved M," the letter begins, though my waking mind has never written such words. They mean to separate us, but love transcends even death itself. Tiffany calls me Saturday morning, her voice shaky. "Riley, I need to see you. Something strange is happening." Her apartment looks exactly as I remember, but she seems different. Paler, with dark circles under her eyes like she hasn't slept in days. "I've been having dreams," she says without preamble. "Victorian dreams, about a woman searching for someone she loves." My blood runs cold. "Tell me about them." "I'm Margaret in the dreams. I live in this grand house, but I'm trapped there by my family. They disapprove of my relationship with another woman." She paces to the French doors, staring out at the sunny morning. "The woman I love leaves tokens for me to find. Jewelry, letters, promises that we'll be together again. Tiffany." I reach for her, but she steps away. That's not the strangest part. When I wake up, I find things. Victorian things that shouldn't exist in my apartment. She leads me to her bedroom dresser. On top sits a silver hairbrush I've never seen before, ornate and clearly antique. Beside it, a small leather journal bound with ribbon. These appeared after my first dream, I thought maybe I'd bought them and forgotten, but they're not in my inventory system. They don't exist in my records anywhere. I pick up the journal with trembling hands. The leather feels warm, almost alive. Inside, pages are filled with spidery handwriting in fading brown ink. My dearest Margaret, I wait for you beyond the veil of sleep. Jesus, I breathe. This is impossible. Gets worse. She opens her jewelry box, revealing a collection of Victorian pieces I know weren't there before. Cameo brooches, garnet earrings, and at the center, an exact duplicate of the authenticated locket that helped save Lisa. The dreams are getting stronger, she continues, more real. Last night I spent what felt like hours in that house. And when I woke up, there were muddy footprints on my bedroom floor. Victorian, button-up boots. I sink onto her bed, mind reeling. The rational part of me insists this is stress-induced illusion, maybe some kind of shared psychosis brought on by the intensity of the case and our relationship. But the evidence sits before me, tangible and inexplicable. Riley, in the dreams, Margaret is waiting for someone named Rose. And Rose looks exactly like you. The words hit like physical blows. In my dreams, I've been searching for Margaret. In hers, she's been waiting for Rose. Two women, separated by circumstances but connected by love that somehow transcends time itself. This is insane, I whisper. Is it? Think about how we met. A charity ride where both our bikes broke down. A case that led you straight to my shop. Finding each other against impossible odds. She sits beside me, taking my hands. Maybe some connections are meant to be, no matter how many lifetimes it takes. That night, I dream with purpose. Instead of wandering lost through the Victorian house, I seek out Margaret directly. I find her in a conservatory filled with dying roses, wearing a blue dress that matches her melancholy. Rose, she breathes, rushing into my arms. I feared you'd never come. I'm here now, I whisper against her hair, though I don't understand how I know the words. Nothing will separate us again. When I wake, my iPhone shows 17 missed calls from Tiffany. Panic sends me flying across town to her shop, still in pajamas and bare feet. She meets me at the door, eyes wild. The dreams are bleeding through. Look. Victorian furniture fills her shop. Pieces that weren't there yesterday. A mahogany writing desk, velvet settees, oil paintings in gilded frames. Customers browse among them, as if they've always existed. Nobody seems to notice anything strange, she whispers. It's like reality is rewriting itself around us. I grab her hand, kneading her anchor against the surreal. We have to figure out what they want, Margaret and Rose, what they need from us. I think I know. She leads me to the writing desk, where an unfinished letter lies open. The handwriting matches the journal entries, but the ink is still wet. They want us to finish what they started, to be together in a way they never could. Looking into her brown eyes, seeing my own confusion and desire reflected there, I realize the truth. Whether these dreams represent past lives, parallel realities, or simply our subconscious minds creating meaning from coincidence, they've shown us something vital. What Tiffany and I have isn't just attraction or even love. It's recognition. A completion of something that began long before we met on that charity ride. So what do? I ask. She kisses me then, soft and sure. We stop fighting it. We let ourselves have what they couldn't. The Victorian world overlaps our modern one for just a moment, and I swear, I hear ghostly laughter carried on a breeze that smells of roses and rain. 3 weeks pass in a strange suspension between worlds. The Victorian intrusions become routine, almost comfortable. Tiffany's shop now seamlessly blends 19th century antiques with modern pieces, and somehow her business thrives. Customers seem drawn to the mysterious atmosphere, buying pieces that carry whispers of old stories. We've learned to navigate the dreams together. Some nights we share the same Victorian world, finding each other in moonlit gardens or candlelit parlors. Other nights we experience different fragments of Margaret and Rose's story. Always searching, always finding, always losing each other again to the cruel conventions of their time. But our waking relationship deepens with each passing day. Coffee together every morning, dinner at small restaurants where we can sit close and speak. In low voices, stolen afternoons in her apartment where reality bends around our touch. I've never felt more complete, more authentically myself. That's why the phone call hits like a sledgehammer. Riley Barnes? The voice is crisp, professional, unfamiliar. Speaking. This is Detective Morgan, Austin PD. I need you to come down to the station. It's about Lisa Chen. My blood turns to ice. What about her? The case is closed. Ma'am, Lisa Chen was found dead in her apartment this morning. Apparent suicide. There's a note. The world tilts sideways. Lisa, who hugged me with tears of joy after her acquittal. Lisa, who was planning to take her kids to Disney World with the insurance money. Lisa, who had everything to live for. I'll be right there. The police station smells like burnt coffee and desperation. Detective Morgan, a tired-looking woman in her 40s, leads me to a small interview room where Lisa's suicide note lies in an evidence bag. I'm sorry for what I did. I couldn't live with the guilt anymore. The jewelry was real, and I helped steal it. Riley Barnes never knew. Please don't punish her for believing in me. This is impossible, I whisper, staring at handwriting that's undeniably Lisa's. She was innocent. We proved it. The note suggests otherwise, and we found the missing Ashford estate pieces in her apartment, along with documents showing she'd been planning to sell them overseas. My mind reels. The authentication we did, Tiffany's expertise, the evidence that exonerated Lisa. All of it meaningless if she was guilty after all. Detective, someone is setting this up. Lisa was framed originally, and now she's being framed posthumously. That's a serious accusation, counselor. You got any proof? I think of Tiffany's locket, the authentication that saved Lisa, the connections we'd uncovered. But how do I explain that without implicating Tiffany in whatever conspiracy this has become? I need time to investigate. Time's up. The DA's office is reviewing your conduct in the Chen case. There's talk of charges if you knowingly presented fraudulent evidence. The walls close in around me. My career, my reputation, everything I've worked for hangs in the balance. And worse, if they investigate too deeply, they'll discover my relationship with Tiffany. They'll assume we colluded, that her testimony was bought with intimacy. I drive to Tiffany's shop in a daze, hands shaking on the steering wheel. Through the windows I can see her arranging a display of Victorian brooches. She looks up when I enter, and her smile fades instantly. What's wrong? I tell her everything. Lisa's death, the suicide note, the accusations, the investigation that could destroy us both. With each word, her face grows paler. They're going to think we worked together, she says finally. That my testimony was compromised. It was compromised, not by conspiracy, but by the fact that I was falling in love with you even as I asked for your help. The words hang between us like a confession and an accusation. She reaches for me, but I step back. Riley, you can't seriously think I had anything to do with this. I don't know what to think anymore. Lisa's dead, and somehow she's been made to look guilty posthumously. The only people who benefited from her acquittal were you and me. You think I killed her? Her voice breaks on the words. I think someone did. And I think whoever it was has been playing a very long game. I look around the shop, at the Victorian pieces that appeared from nowhere, at the impossible blending of past and present. What if the dreams aren't about past lives? What if someone's been manipulating us from the beginning? Tiffany's eyes fill with tears. You're talking crazy. The dreams, what we have together, it's real. Is it? Or have we been dancing to someone else's tune since the moment we met? Before she can answer, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Stop digging or you'll join Lisa. Your girlfriend knows more than she's telling. I show Tiffany the message, watching her face for any sign of recognition or guilt. What I see instead breaks my heart. Pure terror. Riley, I swear on everything I hold dear, I don't know what this means. But doubt has taken root, poisoning everything beautiful we've built. The Victorian dreams that brought us together now feel sinister. The antiques appearing in her shop seem like evidence of something darker than supernatural romance. I need some space to think, I tell her, hating how her face crumbles. Until I figure out what's really happening, we can't see each other. You're going to abandon us? Abandon what we have? I'm trying to save us, both of us. I walk out of her shop and into the harsh Austin sun, leaving behind the woman I love and the dreams that made me believe in impossible things. Behind me, I hear the sound of something breaking. Glass, maybe, or a heart. That night, I dream alone for the first time in weeks. No Victorian mansion, no Margaret waiting in the conservatory, just darkness and the echo of Tiffany's voice calling my name across a distance that feels like death itself. When I wake, there's a single rose on my pillow. Black as midnight, beautiful as sorrow, impossible as everything else that's brought us to this moment. 2 sleepless nights later, the dreams return with violent intensity. But this time, I'm not Rose searching for Margaret. I'm myself, Riley Barnes, standing in a Victorian cemetery at midnight while ghostly figures move between weathered headstones. Margaret and Rose appear before me, hand in hand, their faces luminous with otherworldly peace. "The truth lies beneath Oakwood Cemetery," Margaret whispers, her voice carrying across impossible distances. "Where our earthly forms rest, the real collection waits." I wake with dirt under my fingernails and the taste of grave soil in my mouth. On my nightstand sits a brass key that wasn't there when I fell asleep, ornate, and clearly Victorian, cold to the touch despite the warm morning air. Oakwood Cemetery sprawls across 50 acres of Austin's East Side, established in 1856. I arrive at dawn with a shovel, flashlight, and rapidly fraying sanity. The key burns in my pocket like a live coal, guiding me toward the oldest section where limestone markers bear names worn smooth by time. The Harwick family plot sits beneath ancient oak trees, surrounded by an ornate iron fence. Edmund Harwick, master silversmith, died 1889. Beside his grave, 2 smaller markers, Margaret Harwick, beloved daughter, 1860 to 1885. And there, partially hidden by overgrown ivy, Rose Sullivan, cherished friend, 1862 to 1885. The same year. They died within months of each other, these women whose love story has been bleeding into our dreams. The brass key fits perfectly into a small lock hidden within the iron fence gate. It opens with a whisper, as if it's been waiting over a century for this moment. My shovel strikes metal 3 feet down between the graves. Heart pounding, I uncover a lead-lined box, its surface green with verdigris. Inside, wrapped in oiled cloth, lies the genuine Ashford estate jewelry collection. Dozens of pieces, each one a masterwork of Victorian craftsmanship. At the center, a leather journal bound with faded ribbon. Margaret's diary chronicles everything. Her love affair with Rose Sullivan, an Irish immigrant who worked as her father's shop assistant. Their secret meetings, coded letters, the jewelry Edmund crafted to commemorate their forbidden love. And finally, their joint suicide when Margaret's family threatened to have Rose deported for corrupting their daughter. "We chose death together rather than life apart," the final entry reads. "But love such as ours cannot die. We will find each other again, in this life or the next." The journal includes sketches, maps, details about where they hid Edmund. These masterworks before taking poison together in 1885. Someone in the present day found these writings, used them to locate and steal the collection, then created reproductions to frame Lisa Chen. But who and why? My phone buzzes. Tiffany's name appears on the screen, and despite everything, my heart leaps. "Riley, thank heaven you answered. Someone broke into my shop last night. They took the locket, all the Victorian pieces, everything. Are you hurt?" "Physically, no. But Riley, there's more. They left something behind, photos of us together, at my apartment, in the cemetery just now. We're being watched." Terror ices my veins. Someone has been orchestrating this entire scenario, manipulating both of us through the dreams, the antiques, even our feelings for each other. But standing in this cemetery, holding Margaret's diary, I realize something crucial. Whatever game we've been playing, we're not the only pawns. "Meet me at Barton Springs," I tell her, "the pavilion, 1 hour. Riley, is it safe?" Nowhere is safe until we end this. But I know how now. Barton Springs Pool sits in the heart of Austin, spring-fed and constant at 70 degrees year-round. Tiffany arrives looking haunted, beautiful, and afraid. Dark circles shadow her eyes, and her hands shake when she reaches for me. "I haven't slept since you left," she admits. The dreams stopped completely. It's like Margaret disappeared. Because we found what she wanted us to find. I show her the diary, watch wonder replace fear in her expression. The real collection, the proof of their love story. Someone's been using their tragedy to manipulate us. She reads Margaret's words with tears streaming down her face. When she finishes, she looks up with devastating clarity. We're not just reliving their story, are we? We're completing it. The question is whether we're writing our own ending or following their script. Before she can answer, applause echoes across the pavilion. Marcus Watson, my former colleague, emerges from behind a support pillar, slow clapping with theatrical precision. Beautiful work, Riley. Though I expected you to figure it out sooner. My blood turns arctic. Marcus, who recommended the Chen case to me. Marcus, who had access to all my files. Marcus, who knew exactly how to bait the trap. You killed Lisa. Lisa killed herself. I simply provided the proper motivation. His smile is reptilian. Amazing what people will do when they think their children are in danger. Tiffany steps closer to me, and I can feel her trembling. Why? What's the point of all this? The Ashford collection is worth $3 million. But more than that, watching you two dance to my tune has been endlessly entertaining. He pulls out a gun, casual as drawing a pen. Star-crossed lovers, manipulated by dreams and destiny. Very poetic. The dreams were real, I insist, though doubt gnaws at my certainty. The connection between us. Oh, the dreams were real, induced by psychotropic compounds in the lovely wine Tiffany's been serving. Enhanced by carefully planted suggestions and artifacts. Amazing what the mind will create when properly guided. I look at Tiffany, searching her face for truth or betrayal. What I see breaks me. She's staring at Marcus with recognition dawning in her eyes. You, she breathes. You're the one who sold me the estate lot, who brought me the locket in the first place. Guilty as charged. Though I prefer to think of myself as a romantic. I gave you two a beautiful love story, even if it was built on manipulation. The gun wavers between us as he talks, and I calculate distances, angles, possibilities. Margaret and Rose chose death together rather than separation. But I refuse to let their tragedy become ours. Here's how this ends, Marcus continues. Murder-suicide. Lesbian lovers can't handle the pressure of the investigation. Very tragic, very final. That's when Tiffany moves. Not away from me, toward safety, but directly at Marcus, a fierce cry tearing from her throat. The gun fires, the sound echoing across the springs like thunder. But we're still standing, still breathing, still together. Marcus lies motionless beside the pavilion, felled by Detective Morgan and two uniformed officers who emerge from concealment. Nice work, counselor, Morgan says, holstering her weapon. We got everything on tape. In the aftermath, as EMTs check us for injuries and crime scene techs photograph, everything. Tiffany and I hold each other with desperate intensity. The dreams may have been chemically induced, the artifacts planted, even our initial meeting orchestrated. But what we built together, what we chose together, that was real. I love you, she whispers against my hair. Not because of dreams or destiny or manipulation, because you're brave and brilliant and you make me want to be better. I love you too, I whisper back, meaning it with every fiber of my being. Whatever brought us together, we get to choose what happens next. As the sun sets over Barton Springs, painting the sky in shades of rose and gold, we walk hand in hand toward whatever future we'll write together. Behind us, the pavilion stands empty, except for ghosts who can finally rest, their love story complete at last. The celebration lasts exactly 12 hours. Marcus Watson's arrest makes front-page news. The recovered Ashford collection validates everything we fought for. Lisa Chen's name is cleared posthumously, her insurance payout restored to her children. Justice served, case closed, happy ending tied in a neat bow. Then the hammer falls. Riley Barnes, you're under arrest. Detective Thompson's voice cuts through the morning quiet of Tiffany's apartment like a blade. Conspiracy to commit fraud, evidence tampering, and accessory after the fact in the death of Lisa Chen. My coffee mug shatters on the hardwood floor. Through the French doors I can see 3 patrol cars blocking the street. Their red and blue lights painting everything in harsh colors. This is insane, Tiffany protests, stepping between me and the officers. Riley exposed the real criminal. She saved the day. According to new evidence, she was working with Watson from the beginning. Thompson holds up an evidence bag containing what looks like financial records. Bank deposits totaling $50,000 made to Riley's account over the past 6 months. Payments from Marcus Watson's Shell Corporation. The world stops spinning. I never received any payments from Marcus. Check my bank records. We did. The money's there, counselor. Deposited through cryptocurrency transactions that mask the original source. My hands shake as Thompson reads my rights. The words blur together into meaningless noise. Tiffany's face goes white as marble, and I can see doubt creeping into her eyes. After everything we've been through, after learning how thoroughly Marcus manipulated our reality, she's wondering if I was part of it. Tiffany, I whisper as they cuff my hands behind my back. You have to know this isn't real. Marcus is still playing games, even from jail. But she steps back, arms wrapped around herself like armor. I don't know what's real anymore. The words hit harder than the handcuffs. As they lead me away, I catch a glimpse of something that stops my heart cold. A man in an expensive suit standing across the street, watching with interested eyes. I've never seen him before. But something about his posture, his predatory stillness screams danger. Travis County Jail smells like disinfectant and desperation. My cell is a 8x10 concrete box that I'll call home until bail gets sorted. If bail gets sorted, conspiracy charges carry serious weight, and with my alleged connection to Marcus, I'm considered a flight risk. My court-appointed attorney is fresh out of law school, earnest but overwhelmed. The evidence is circumstantial, she tells me during our first meeting, but the financial records are damning. Why would Watson pay you unless you were working together? To frame me, I explain for the dozenth time. He orchestrated everything, including this arrest. That's a hell of a long game, Riley. We need concrete proof of his manipulation, not conspiracy theories. 3 days pass in crushing monotony. Breakfast slop, lunch slop, dinner slop. Exercise hour in a concrete yard where autumn leaves blow through razor wire. No word from Tiffany, no visits, no calls. Nothing but silence that grows heavier each passing hour. On the 4th day, everything changes. My attorney arrives with papers and an expression I can't read. Riley, we need to talk. It's about Tiffany White. My chest tightens. What about her? She's been arrested. Same charges as you, plus additional counts of trafficking in stolen antiquities. The room spins around me. That's impossible. Yesterday morning, police executed a search warrant on her shop and apartment. They found the missing pieces from the Ashford collection, hidden in a secret compartment behind her bookshelf, along with documentation showing she's been selling stolen antiques internationally for over 2 years. I can't breathe, can't think, can't process the words she's saying. There's more. Phone records show she was in regular communication with Marcus Watson for months before you two met. Text messages, discussing the setup, your psychological profile, the best ways to manipulate your emotions. The betrayal hits like physical pain. Everything floods back with new, horrible clarity. The charity ride where we met, her bike breaking down, the convenient authentication of the locket, the dreams that brought us together, that made me trust her completely. She played me, I whisper. From the very beginning, she played me. The DA is offering a deal. Testify against Tiffany and Marcus, and they'll reduce your charges to a misdemeanor. You'd serve 6 months, then probation. I think of Tiffany's brown eyes, the way they lit up when she looked at me, the soft sounds she made when we made love, the trembling in her voice when she said she loved me. All of it lies. I want to see her, I tell my attorney. Riley, that's not advisable. Anything you say could be used against both of you. I want to see her. The meeting room is sterile white, separated by thick glass and monitored by cameras. When they bring Tiffany in, my heart breaks all over again. She's wearing Orange County jail scrubs, her beautiful hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. Dark circles shadow her eyes, but she's still the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. We pick up phones simultaneously, our eyes meeting through the glass. Riley, she breathes. Thank God. I've been so worried about you. Were you? The words come out colder than I intended. Or is this just another performance? Her face crumbles. What are you talking about? The texts, Tiffany. The phone records. The stolen antiques they found in your apartment. I lean forward, searching her face for truth. How long have you been working with Marcus? I never worked with Marcus. I swear to you, everything between us was real. Then explain the evidence. Explain how you've been running an international art theft ring from your little antique shop. Tears stream down her cheeks now. I can't explain it because it's not true. Someone is setting us both up, Riley. Can't you see that? I want to believe her. Every fiber of my being screams to believe her. But the evidence is overwhelming, and I can't trust my own judgment anymore. Not when it comes to her. I loved you, I whisper into the phone. I would have given you everything. You still can. We can fight this together. We can prove our innocence. I stand up, the chair scraping against concrete. Goodbye, Tiffany. Riley, please don't do this. Don't give up on us. But I'm already walking away, leaving behind the woman who made me believe in impossible things. The woman who taught me to love without reservation. The woman who destroyed me more completely than any enemy ever could. That night in my cell, I signed the plea agreement. 6 months in minimum security, followed by 2 years probation. In exchange, I'll testify that Tiffany White seduced me as part of an elaborate conspiracy to defraud the Ashford estate and frame an innocent woman. It's the smart play, the safe play, the play that protects what little future I have left. So why does it feel like the biggest mistake of my life? 6 months in minimum security teaches you things about yourself you never wanted to know. Like how long you can stare at concrete walls before madness creeps in. Like how betrayal tastes when you swallow it every morning with powdered eggs. Like how love can survive, even when everything rational tells you it shouldn't. I testify against Tiffany on a Tuesday morning in March. She sits at the defendant's table in a navy blue suit, her hair pulled back severely, looking like a stranger. When our eyes meet across the courtroom, I see nothing but emptiness where warmth used to live. My testimony is clinical, devastating. I detail how she seduced me, manipulated my emotions, used our relationship to compromise the Chen case. The prosecutor guides me through phone records, financial transactions, evidence that paints her as a master manipulator who destroyed lives for profit. It's all lies, but I deliver them with the conviction of someone who's convinced herself they're true. Tiffany's attorney cross-examines me with surgical precision, trying to poke holes in the narrative. But the evidence is too neat, too complete. Someone very smart has constructed an airtight case against the woman I love. Loved, past tense. Because love can't survive this kind of betrayal, can it? The trial lasts 3 weeks. I watch from the gallery as witness after witness testifies to Tiffany's guilt. The man in the expensive suit from the day of my arrest appears as a prosecution witness, identifying himself as an international art recovery specialist who'd been tracking her activities for years. Something about him still bothers me, but I can't put my finger on what. The jury deliberates for 4 hours, guilty on all counts, 25 years in federal prison. As they lead her away in shackles, Tiffany looks directly at me one last time. I forgive you, she mouths, and my heart shatters all over again. My release comes on a gray October morning, exactly 6 months after my arrest. The free world feels alien after institutionalization. Colors too bright, sounds too loud. I take a cab to the storage unit where my possessions wait in cardboard boxes like artifacts from someone else's life. My law license is suspended pending review. My apartment was repossessed. My savings account, frozen during the investigation, contains enough for maybe 2 months of survival. I'm 42 years old with nothing but a criminal record and memories that taste like poison. The halfway house assigns me to a tiny room with yellowed walls and a window that overlooks a parking lot. My neighbor is a meth addict named Jenny, who cries through the walls every night. This is my life now. This is what loving Tiffany White cost me. 3 weeks into my new existence, I'm stocking shelves at a discount grocery store when Detective Morgan finds me. Riley, you look like hell. I don't dignify that with a response. Just keep facing cans of generic tomato sauce with mechanical precision. We need to talk, she continues, about the White case. Case is closed. She's in federal prison where she belongs. Is she? Morgan leans against my cart, forcing me to look at her. Funny thing about that art recovery specialist who testified against her. James Crawford, very impressive credentials. So James Crawford died in a car accident in Belgium 3 years ago. The man who testified was using his identity. The tomato sauce can slips from my numb fingers, splattering red across the linoleum. What are you saying? I'm saying someone went to a lot of trouble to frame Tiffany White, someone with resources, connections, and a very personal agenda. Morgan hands me a manila folder. Someone who's been playing a much longer game than any of us realized. The folder contains photographs, financial records, witness statements, all pointing to a conspiracy that goes back decades. The real James Crawford had been investigating a network of high-end art thieves operating out of Austin. His investigation led him to a shadowy figure known only as the Collector, someone who specialized in Victorian-era pieces. Marcus Watson wasn't the mastermind. He was middle management, following orders from someone much more dangerous, someone who used his death in prison to tie up loose ends and frame both Tiffany and me for crimes we didn't commit. The Collector is still out there, Morgan explains, still stealing, still killing anyone who gets too close. And right now, Tiffany White is the only person who can identify him. The pieces fall into place with horrible clarity. The man in the expensive suit, the too perfect evidence, the systematic destruction of everyone involved in the original case. You think she's innocent. I know she's innocent. The question is whether you're brave enough to help prove it. That night, I lie on my narrow cot staring at the water-stained ceiling, wrestling with impossible choices. Tiffany is serving 25 years for crimes she didn't commit. The real killer walks free, probably already planning his next move. And I'm the only person positioned to do something about it. But helping her means admitting I was wrong. Admitting I let fear and betrayal poison everything pure we'd built together. Admitting I chose safety over love and destroyed us both in the process. The next morning, I call in sick to my soul-crushing job and take a bus to the Federal Women's Correctional Facility in Bastrop. Visiting hours start at 9. I arrive at 8:30 and wait in the parking lot, rehearsing words that will never be adequate. When they bring her into the visiting room, I barely recognize her. Prison has stripped away her softness, leaving sharp angles and wary eyes. She's lost weight, and her beautiful hair is cropped short as a defense against the cruelties of incarceration. But when she sees me, her face transforms with hope so bright it's painful to witness. Riley, she breathes my name like a prayer. I knew you'd come. I knew you'd figure it out. I sit across from her at the plastic table, hands shaking with the magnitude of what I need to say. Tiffany, I'm so sorry. I was scared and stupid, and I believed their lies. You were protecting yourself. I understand. No, you don't understand. I reach across the table, not caring about the guards watching. I love you. I never stopped loving you, not for 1 second, and I'm going to get you out of here. Her eyes fill with tears. How? By finishing what we started. By finding the truth, no matter what it costs. She covers my hand with hers, and the connection blazes between us like it did from the very beginning. Real, undeniable, worth any sacrifice. Together? She whispers. Together, I promise. 6 months later, we walk out of the federal courthouse, hand in hand, completely exonerated. The real Collector sits in custody, his decades-long crime spree finally ended. The Ashford collection has been returned to its rightful owners. Justice, at long last, has been served. We open our joint practice in a renovated Victorian house on South Congress, combining legal services with antique authentication, White and Barnes, attorneys and antiquarians. The sign outside features intertwined roses, a reminder of the love story that almost destroyed us but ultimately saved us both. On quiet evenings, we still dream of Margaret and Rose sometimes. But now their whispers carry blessings instead of warnings, peace instead of desperation. They found their happy ending through us, and we found ours through the courage to believe in love even when everything else fell apart. Today is our wedding day. Small ceremony, just a few friends, officiated by Detective Morgan, who became our unlikely ally. Tiffany wears her grandmother's pearls and a vintage lace dress that makes her look like sunshine given form. In her hands, she carries a single red rose. Do you take this woman, the judge asks, to have and to hold, for better or worse? For richer or poorer, in sickness and health, as long as you both shall live? I look into her brown eyes and see our future spreading out like an endless horizon. Adventures, challenges, quiet mornings and passionate nights. Growing old together in a world we'll build with our own hands. I do, I whisper, meaning it with every fiber of my being. When we kiss, sealing our promise with the sweetness of second chances, I swear. I hear ghostly laughter carried on a breeze that smells of roses and forever.